Hi, and welcome to another edition of PraxHacks. Today, we're going to be focusing on the argumentative essay for the 5723 Praxis writing test and what scoring looks like with that particular essay. With the 5723, you have two essays. One's the argumentative, one's the source base. We'll talk about the source base in a couple other videos, but today, right now, we're just going to be talking about the argumentative and how it's scored. Remember, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Share the video with your friends and be sure to subscribe. We try to put out a video at least once a day, sometimes twice, depends on the day. So, before we get started too much, we want to thank our sponsor, Upside. Upside is the app that you can download and get real money back every time you fill up for gas and buy certain food items. With the Upside app, if you use the code UWVQ4, you will get an extra 15 cents back on your first fill up. That's real money back to you. That if you, without the Upside app, you're leaving money at the pump. So again, download the Upside app and get some money back. So, argumentative in a nutshell. What I mean is, what is this argumentative essay? So, argumentative essay is writing an opinion. It's writing a persuasive as to your side. Now, you'll go into the test and they will give you a topic or a prompt. And I'll talk more about that later in this video. But your job then is to either argue for that statement or against that statement. It's got to be well supported, but we're going to talk more about that when we look at the rubric on the next slide. So here's a breakdown of the rubric for the argumentative essay. If you've watched some of our other videos, we've talked about the rubric a little bit before and how this is what you need to focus on to get a passing score. So this is the rubric for the 4. The grade for each essay is between a 6 and a 1. You want to shoot for at least a 4. So it states or implies a writer's position or thesis. It shows control in organization and development of ideas. It explains some key ideas, supporting them with adequate reasons, examples, or details. Displays adequate use of language and shows control of grammar usage and mechanics, but may display some errors. Let's dig a little deeper into what each one of those means. So, states or implies the writer's position or thesis. I feel like as we go through education and the higher we get up, the more we're told to avoid using I statements. For this particular writing assignment, this essay for this particular test, your first sentence should be a strong I statement. What do I mean by that? I mean that I agree with the statement blah, 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 or I disagree with the statement blah, blah, blah. Don't be afraid to start off with a very strong I statement and clearly state whether you're for or against the statement being made. Again, do not be afraid of the I statement because that is going to show your scorer clearly what your side or what your position is. So yeah, jump right out there, use the I statement. The next bullet on the rubric was shows control in organization and development of ideas. I'm going to suggest either using a 3-paragraph structure. So it would be introduction, your examples to support your statement, and then a conclusion. Or another thing you can do is an introductory paragraph and then a paragraph for each of your examples, followed up by a conclusion. The problem with the 5-paragraph structure is your time. Can you write 5 decent paragraphs in 30 minutes? Most people will probably say no, but this is where getting in and practicing these essays and writing will give you an idea. Can you really do it? Or is the 3-paragraph organization more doable for the amount of time you're given? I'm going to say probably yes, but again, you want to have this good, clear plan and not just ramble through your writing. Which brings me to these key ideas, supporting details, good examples. You want to be sure that they're all supporting that statement. So if you disagree on something, you want to have at least 3 good examples of why you disagree on this. Or vice versa. If you agree with it, again, you want to have at least 3 very clear examples why you disagree with the statement. Again, shoot for 3. If you give them 4, that's all the better. Again, though, be very mindful of your time. Another hint that I'm going to throw in here, scorers often like to read personal stories. So if you have a personal story that could be somebody you know or something you've read, or throw it in there, and that will make your writing richer, more interesting, and grab your scorer's attention. That's always a good thing. The next bullet point on the rubric was displays adequate use of language. What this means is that you have a good vocabulary. You're not always using the same words over and over, that you spice it up a bit. The problem with this is make sure it's words you can spell, because as we're going to talk in another video or in this next slide, I believe, you don't have spell check and grammar check. So yes on variety and yes on good use of language, but again, make sure they're words you're used to using and are comfortable with. And yes, this is probably the one most people fear the most. Shows control in usage, grammar, and mechanics, but may contain some errors. Again, like I just said on the previous slide, there is no spell check or grammar check. What you write is what you're going to be turning in. You can edit it as long as you have time, but be as careful as you can. You can have some errors, but they better be as few as possible. I'm going to say things like missing commas, as long as they're not, like if you write 3 paragraphs and there's absolutely no commas in it, you're probably got some errors, and they'll probably keep you here at the 4, if not at the 3. So be careful. And this this picture is a good example of, again, being really careful with spelling. Careful as possible with grammar. This is a writing test, and if you remember back a couple other videos, grammar English teachers are who are grading these things. So you want to make sure you're doing your best work possible. So that brings us to the end. If you want some more practice and some more information, be sure to check out our book. It is available on Amazon. It is specifically a study guide for this 5723 test. There are 2 practice tests included, and several writing prompts to practice with as well. We do talk more about the rubric, but this video hopefully gives you a good idea of some ways to improve your writing using that rubric. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again in another video.